What is up, Roughnecks? This is Pwnsaurusrex of Pwnsaurusrex Gaming, and today we're going to be discussing basic tools that you need in order to start assembling and preparing minis for priming and painting. So, take a second to subscribe, like the video, and let's get started. Alright guys, first up we have the side cutters, diagonal cutters, hobby cutters, whatever you want to call them, that's what they do. They cut. They're going to cut your miniature from the sprue. You take the flat side because you're going to want a pair with a flat side. And you put the flat side against your model or close to your model and you cut. That way you don't cut into your model, you just cut and leave these tiny, tiny little sprue marks, which you would then use a hobby knife on. Hobby knives come in many shapes and sizes. Models, there's many different types of blades. This is a standard Xacto knife, which is Xacto knife is the brand name, and this is an Army Painter one. Army Painter one's a little bit more fancy with a rubberized grip. It's more comfortable in the hands, and the Xacto knife is just a standard. Now the difference is this one's $3. This one's probably $15 to $20. But at any rate, these you use to scrape off mold lines, you use it to cut off those sprue marks that you left on the model when you cut them, and you use it to clean up your model. After you assemble it with glue, you clean the glue off, and also after you use green stuff to fill gaps, you can use these to either mold it into the gap, or you can use it to clear extra off. Hobby knives and hobby cutters are going to be your two most important tools that you're going to use while you're assembling and preparing miniatures. These two are by far your most important. Okay, next up you have the file. This is an Army Painter file. It has a thin end, it has a thick end, it's got three sides. It works relatively well to remove mold lines, to remove the sprue marks, to file out green stuff that has been hardened. It works well. You don't need a file. A hobby knife can cover those jobs too, but a file can sometimes make your life a little bit easier. Alright, then we have glues. We have super glue and plastic glue. There are many types of super glue. Specifically, there is like gel, there's thick, thin. It's just called super glue. And this one actually has a brush and nozzle, which I find to be very convenient. If I want to brush it on, there we go, I've got a brush. If I want to squirt it on, I've got a place to squirt it on. It gives me the option to make a choice, and that's what I like about this one right here. Plastic glue, I've used Citidal plastic glue. I like this one. It's got the nice nozzle where I can pinpoint where I want my glue to go. It works well. After that, you have green stuff. Green stuff is a gap filler. You can also mold it into things. You can make different you could adjust the way your model looks with it. You basically take equal parts of the blue and yellow, you mix it up, it turns the color green, of course, and then you would fit it in where you needed it. So like with this model, you may not like the way this arm has this gap up in here. We already put some over here, maybe we want to put a little bit more, and then you would need a hobby sculpting device in order to make sure it gets where it's going, and then you sculpt it in. This sculpting device is a Army Painter as well. I'm sure there are many of these on the market, especially in like the clay section at any hobby store. These work very well to get that job done, to get that in there. And then of course you take the hobby knife and clean up any that you did not want on there. Make sure to clean the blade, because if it hardens on the blade, it'll mess it up. Okay. Then you have the pin vise that I use to prepare a model. Basically a gun barrel. I use this for gun barrels. Most miniatures tend to be plastic nowadays, but there are the occasional metal model that you would need these for to put pinning in. Pinning is a whole nother ball game that we could cover another time, but basically you have two metal pieces and you would drill one hole in one, drill one hole in the other, and put a little piece of metal in there when you glue it together. That way it doesn't break. That's another video though, guys. Alright, Roughnecks, those are the basic tools that I use in order to prepare my miniatures for priming and painting. The next video should cover priming, so make sure to ring that bell if you haven't already. Check us out on Discord, check out that Patreon, and if I don't see you in the comments below, I'll see you in the next video.